Hey, Bob.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Doing fine.
Good.
Hey, you want me to cover up my scar?
No, should we talk? Your audio sounds bad, by the way.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm over here.
We can talk about it for a minute.
Oh,
Bring up your what?
I don't care. Is that better?
Scar.
Audio's better.
Yeah.
What happened?
Got my head open.
With?
I wish it was on the slopes, but it was actually, I was in Colorado and we were literally getting, the day we were leaving, we were cleaning up the condo. I'll go on my poorly placed sconce rant if you want me to. That might
No. We don't want to go there.
There was a poorly placed sconce, if you haven't picked up on that, Chuck.
I picked up on that.
Served no purpose. Honestly, served no purpose. It was decorative. It was to match the dining table lights, and they were behind the dining table in a place where if you had placed something under it and forgotten that you had a sconce above your head, you could stand up into it and break the glass. What happened to me? And I didn't feel it. I stuck. I was like, oh, I shattered the glass. That sucks. And then all of a sudden, just blood everywhere. It was the same day that my son gashed his cheek.
Open up your video and audio there, Superman, Steve.
Superman. But yeah, my son gashed his cheek same day.
Yeah, Steve Phillips. We need to test your audio and get your video going, Steve. We got to roll, buddy. Come on. Steve, we need your
Randy's out of town.
He's out of town on vacation.
All right, guys. Sorry about that.
Let me hear your audio. Your audio sounds better. Let me hear.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a new headset, a different headset this time.
So I like that.
Can you hear me better?
Yep, much better. Yep.
All
right, let's roll. Ready, gang?
Yep.
All righty. Here we go. News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you till the top of the hour. Hope you're having a good Sunday, and it's off to a good one at least. With us, Steve Phillips, who is in for Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. You can reach Steve anytime through Randy at 645-0736. Also here, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, and Chuck's direct number is 499-6360. My son, Greg, is back from his skiing vacation, and he's with us, but injured. You want to give him a brief outline of what happened?
Sadly, not on the slopes. I was crushing it out there in Steamboat, but I was cleaning up the condo, and this isn't the time to go on my poorly placed sconce rant, but there's a poorly placed sconce, say that 10 times fast, that I was cleaning our condo up, stood up right into, no alcohol involved. I was up in the morning, barely had my first cup of coffee, cut my head open before I got in the shower and was bleeding everywhere.
Ouch.
But I will say, if you get hurt in Steamboat, Colorado, best darn doctor ER staff I have ever come across. I've not been in many, but best staff I've ever come across. So kudos to them.
If you want to see Greg's injury, LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel, LouisvilleAnswers.com. Chuck, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you were ensconced.
I was ensconced. My scalp was ensconced.
Very cute.
Unfortunately,
very cute. All right, we got a lot of stuff going on. Let me hit some quick news that I think it's making headlines. Heating bills this winter left many homeowners with the sticker shock. I also in that group. Rising cost of fuel made heating bills, not to mention gas bills, jump from 5% to 50% this winter. Some in regions are seeing higher heating bills than even us. Money Magazine spoke to homeowners who reported heating bills doubled their 2021 high levels in states like Minnesota and Wyoming. So I guess we should feel somewhat comforted by that. Mortgage rates fell this week amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine, sparking uncertainty across the globe, including U.S. markets. Steve, where are we now with I know we're, you can't speak the day to day, but are we above 4 and you want to give your NMLS number?
My NMLS number 60930.
Right.
So yeah, well, I mean, the rates are just going crazy right now. The market is obviously getting a lot of influx into it as far as the funds going into the bond market for the mortgage-backed securities and such.
Yep.
Because everybody's scared of what's going on over in Europe, and so usually in times of peril, the bond market is usually a safe location for money. So we're getting a lot of influx into that. It has dropped the rates a little bit, but overall, I mean, we're still getting increases on them. Yesterday, I think there was 5 different rate adjustments throughout the day.
Wow.
It was all over the place.
Yeah, Fed's
So-
expected to make an announcement next week. They're expected to raise a quarter point for short-term rates, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But specifically, are we above or below 4 right now? That seems to be a big question from a lot of
Yeah, I
clients.
mean, I kind of right on there.
Right on it. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Finally, the mega mansion named The One in Los Angeles, Bel Air neighborhood, sold at an auction this week for a record high price. You ready for this? It had 21 bedrooms, 49 bathrooms. I don't know why you need 49 bathrooms, a 30-car garage, 5 swimming pools. According to Fortune magazine, it sold at auction for $141 million, which includes a 12% commission.
Yeah,
So
but
there you
that was a bummer. The article that I saw said for a mere, whatever, the 121 million, because it was listed, I think, for way higher than that originally, and it had to go at auction because no one wanted
No one
it.
wanted it. Right. It's too big, especially with the
Too
price
much money.
of
What's the heating bill going to
utilities.
be?
Yeah,
No
exactly.
kidding.
Let's get to some of the questions. Chuck, I've been getting a number of calls, and I know I send them to you, and so you may already know a little bit about this. Jackson says he has a home he's going to sell. Somehow somebody found out about it who claims to be an investor, and he says he wants to give Jackson $200,000 for the house. He wants to pay Jackson $200,000, but he's a little concerned about that because it would be broken up. This guy would pay Jackson $45,000 up front, make payments to Jackson, as well as make payments for Jackson to his mortgage company until the mortgage is paid off, which is about another 10 years. So the investor is basically buying the home. The deed gets transferred into the investor's name, but Jackson's name is still on the mortgage itself. And this investor says he will continue to pay the mortgage and pay Jackson an additional amount of money per month, $300 or so per month. This sounds like it's a disaster in the making.
Oh yeah, it is. He's
Not
going to
a
pay
doubt.
the mortgage right up until the time he doesn't. And then our seller has no ownership of a property that he owes a lot of money on.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
So,
Nightmare.
Steve, your thoughts on this from a lender's standpoint?
Oh man, I just feel bad for the seller. I mean, it just sounds like he's just setting himself up badly to fail on this in the future because at some
Well,
point.
this was
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
this was a common thing back 08, 09. People had come in and, oh, I'll give you $1,000 for your house and give me the deed, and deed never seems to get recorded. All of a sudden, 6-7 months down the road, people find, oh, no mortgage was made, no payments, etc. And that's the good scenario because the deed was never recorded. Sometimes they would record the deed, and it just gets ugly. They're trying to make a quick flip on it, is what they're doing, probably.
What's concerning to me is that the deed goes into the investor's name, even though the mortgage is still in our Jackson's name.
Right. They're trying to piggyback on their financing so that they can fix it up a little bit and then flip it real quick. Presumably when they flip it, they pay off the mortgage. Sounds real good on paper. I'm sure there's some late night or internet guru who, sold them this plan for a lot of money. The problem is they don't always work out like that. Just because, that's your plan doesn't mean that's where it goes. And then, the investor can just walk away, deed it to anybody, or just leave it and walk away. And then the mortgage is still out there. Seller still owes the money, but they don't have the house. They have
This is a
nothing.
big concern. Big concern.
Yeah.
So your word of caution to anybody, any of our listeners who are approached to have someone buy their home because this market is so hot, the listener may be
Yeah.
saying, oh, this may be a good deal. What would you suggest to everybody?
Don't do it. That would be the first thing. There's a million ways to skin this cat. You can do lease options. You can do, the ever popular contracts for deed. At least that would allow the seller to keep their thumbprint on the property. But it could still create a mess.
Or do what I do. And when you hear something like this, folks, if a red flag comes up or the hairs on your back of your neck start to wiggle a little bit, if you have hairs on the back of your neck, call Chuck Crosby. And I'll be giving out his number again because you need some advice from someone who you can trust.
Just go watch the Twitter, or what was it, the Tinder Swindler. There's a Netflix.
Yeah, the new Netflix movie.
Tinder, you know what I'm talking about? Right. The Swindler, the Tinder Swindler. I'm tongue-tied today.
Tinder Swindler. Haven't seen that one.
The fraud, the amount of fraud that people, it's the humanity of it, right? Like people are getting taken advantage of, and that's the irony of it, is you don't want to ever put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of.
They are, and in every case, and most every case I've seen, the sellers are in a hard way. They can't make their mortgage payment and they think this is an easy out. So, oh, hey, this is all legal and everything. And then they jump on it only to find out that they're worse off, come 6-7 months down the road. Now, there's just a lot of ways to do it differently.
Yes, legally, but to your advantage, not to be taken advantage of. All right, let's move on. This is coming for you, Steve. Amy is writing in. You're going to find this interesting. She was pre-approved with the 2 mortgage companies. One of them was Swan, but she decided to go with another mortgage company because she had a checking account with that other company. So now Amy is writing us and telling us she's having problems with the other mortgage company and wishes she had gone with Swan. There's delays. She says apparently the appraisal on the home that she's buying has been done, but the loan officer at that other company was rude several times and is not returning her calls. And she's asking, is it too late to go back to Swan? So at what point is it too late to make a switch, Steve, and it could be Swan, it could be another mortgage company, but if you're finding you're having problems from the mortgage company that you're working with, when is it too late?
Well, technically never. I mean, you have your timeline of your contract is the biggest restrictive factor in that. With FHA, VA government loans, those appraisals get transferred over quite easily, and all lenders accept transferred appraisals. Conventional loans have a little bit harder timeline transferring over appraisals, so sometimes there's that aspect involved. But for the most part, if they're experiencing these, we have, not just me. I mean, as a broker, I have the ability to shop. So with that allows me to do a lot more things. But what I was trying to get to is that, we get homeowners over to us that have been turned down or having issues with their loans all the time. Sometimes they come to us turned down a couple different ways before we can get them approved. So, it does happen. Things get found in underwriting that can bog a file down or cause an issue that wasn't foreseen. But as a broker, I'm going to hawk that. As a broker, that I've just got so many more ability and variables to shop with. But it does happen from time to time, but there isn't really a time limit on when you can transfer.
All right, but if you do, we should point out that if and when you do try to change, you need to be able to tell your agent and have your agent tell the seller's agent that you're making a switch, because it could delay a little bit. You don't want to do this without everyone's approval.
Yeah, the contract closing date is going to be one of the main limiting factors in that decision, and whether the seller can extend or will extend.
Got it. All right. Just a reminder, something actually brand new that I'm doing now. I'm meeting with sellers explaining real estate secrets. It's kind of an inside look as to how to get your home sold fast and for no money. Well, for most money, but no obligation, no cost, simple setup, either by Zoom or in person. Go to LouisvilleHouseDoctor.com, fill out the form, and bam, we'll get together and talk. Back to the questions. Mandy called me and says, Chuck, that her apartment complex in Indian Ridge, which is in Shelbyville, is no longer safe for seniors. Used to be all seniors are there, disabled persons. It was bought by another company in Tennessee, and they are not keeping up maintenance or safety. So who does Mandy call? Because she says the police are not being responsive. What would you suggest to Mandy?
Okay, I'm not sure where the police come into this. And that sounds like the safety issue is criminal activity, which is a whole other ball of wax. If there's criminal activity, document it, call the cops, call them as often as you can. And sooner or later, something will happen, hopefully. I have a couple of horror stories from that particular scenario. So don't confront the criminals. But if that's the safety issue she's talking about, that's not a senior or non-senior issue. That's an everybody issue. But just keep calling and document it. Go down to the police station, and where it's not a phone, it's a person.
Gotcha. Yeah, that may be the best thing. She sounded very upset when she called me. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, is there
contacting the management company? If the folks that own it are out of Tennessee, they've probably got a local management company, and get an attorney to contact them, because of course having a property unsafe can be considered a constructive eviction, so there are things to do there.
Greg, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, Chuck took it out. I was going to say, make sure you document that. Make sure you're reaching out to the management company. If it's not just a crime issue, if it is a safety thing and you're conflating, who do I go to when I have this, if my management company is not responding? Is there, Chuck, do you know, is there a place that you can go to the state if it's to make a report on a management company that's not keeping up their dwelling?
Well, it depends on what type of tenants you're going to have in the place. Now, Shelby County doesn't have the Landlord Tenant Act, so there's a lot of different, or hasn't incorporated it. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but most of them include getting an attorney and going that route. Gotcha.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, bed bugs, a real problem, some tips and what to look for. In for Randy Rocky, Steve Phillips joins us. You can still reach Steve and or Randy and everybody else that's won at 6450736. Also, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. Not only do they do a great job at closings, but they also do a variety of other things, including wills. Great guy, 499-6360. My son Greg, who's playing injured with his head.
No, I don't even.
Man, as your dad, I'm a little concerned about that, but I understand it wasn't from skiing. It was the sconce that got you. And you can reach me anytime on my cell phone. We're hoping to help you get your home listed and sold. 376-5483. We also have a bunch of agents who can help you in terms of finding your house to buy. 376-5483. Back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you till the top of the hour. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran. Got a call from somebody who's a fan of the show and says, "Hey, I see you and your son Greg on with Barbara all the time." And I said, "Yeah." And so, Greg, you know what I did? I never did this board. I Googled, because that's what one of the commercials says, Google Bob and Greg Sokoler. And there's a variety of stuff that comes up. You just need to know how to spell the last name. Also here with us, besides my son Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. And Steve Phillips is in for a well-deserved vacation for Randy Rocky at Swan Financial at 6450736. If you are traveling, be careful, because bed bugs are everywhere. In fact, Chicago settled in for the second year in a row as the #1 city on Orkins. That's that exterminating company. Top 50 bed bug cities. The list includes Philadelphia, New York, and a variety of things. And you wonder, so where does Louisville come in? Well, I am proud to tell you, folks, that out of 50, Louisville came in 49th in terms of bed bug problems. So good job for.
I wonder if it had anything to do with climate base. I lived in New York, and when you have people living on top of each other and you're on public transit, and those factors help spread. We don't have public transit here. We don't have a lot of dense housing in Louisville. So, places like that probably aren't as susceptible, I would assume. But I do remember living there. You would always hear about, oh, so-and-so got bed bugs. And it was just kind of like a stigma, like having lice. And you get the fumigation, you throw some stuff out, you get over it. You're fine.
Bed bugs are known for rapid population. Females can deposit 1 to 5 eggs a day and may lay 200 to 500 eggs during their lifetime. So you want to look at, and the good news is we don't have them here, but the problem is if you travel, you may experience these. So
Bob's been traveling a lot. So when he's saying it, he's worried about the bed bugs.
Chuck, he just got back from a trip. During the day, including look at mattress tags, seams, behind baseboards, headboards, electrical outlets.
Chuck, stop scratching.
Yeah, I won't go any further. If you want more, send me an email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com. Put bed bugs in the subject line. I'll send you the story on that. Hopefully that will help everybody who is listening to
worried about bed bugs.
We now have 5 ways to help you sell your home and just about guaranteed to help you find your next home. Go to, you ready? Here we go. BobSellMyHome.com or SellMyHomeBob.com. There we go. Let's go back over to Steve. David wondering how many days before closing do mortgage companies run your credit? So they run it at the beginning in theory. Correct, Steve?
Well, yeah, that's what they get pre-qualified or pre-approved for, is that initial credit pull. It gets you, that's what everything is based on. Those reports are good for 4 months. So unless you're going past 4 months, the lenders are not, they don't pull another credit report. What I guess he is referring to is they will do a softening. They'll check just to make sure that there's no new credit lines open, no new debt loaded onto the debt to income ratio. They do that through a soft pull. It is not a hard pull. What we pull at the beginning of the loan is the hard pull. That's the actual credit pull most people associate. What the lenders pull is just more an inquiry check just to make sure no new debt, but it doesn't impact your score like ours initial pull does.
Got it. But we should point out, don't go between the time you initially apply for a mortgage and the time you close, don't open up new accounts at stores or
that's what it
car.
Sounds like our questionnaire was about, was how soon can I go open new lines of credit before? I've heard, isn't there, you shouldn't do it like the day after either. You should wait a little bit and not immediately do it. I mean, not that it's very rare that there's a problem after the case, but if there were, maybe wait a week until after closing if you're going to open something new up.
Yeah, we prefer not to do it at all until you get to closing. I mean, truly, that's what we advise is not opening any new lines of credit, not even having an inquiry, simply because there are things that could impact it where, for whatever reason, very rarely, but even in those very rare times, you want to take everything you can to make sure that you get the best outcome. So if you have to, the lenders are going to find out. They will make you give them an updated statement for the new credit to show what the balance monthly payment is and such. But the best line is not to open it. If you do it minimally and only under dire need.
So without giving away names, Greg, tell everybody who didn't follow that rule. Not, you don't want to say by name, but tell the scenario of somebody we know who didn't follow that. Do you remember this? You look like you don't know.
No, you've got deer in headlights. I mean, I'm trying to think in my head who might have.
It was part of one of the members of our family.
I believe, but I would never rat on anybody. But
I'm not saying you to rat. I'm just saying this person did open up I think they were buying a couch or something.
There was furniture involved. I made a phone call, told my good, very close relative / family member how ridiculous and stupid that was.
Yes.
And that they needed to not do that immediately and get cash on that purchase and not have that on their credit.
So my point.
But they were okay. Listen, it wasn't a situation where they couldn't, and the debt to income wasn't going to mess them up.
That's
they
fine,
were in a position where they would have been fine.
Right. But if it could happen to somebody who is part of the family who knows enough, well enough It can happen to any one of our
A former agent that's in referral status.
former
that just
agent. Yes,
forgot,
that's
perhaps?
right. Okay. All right, we're not going to
Yeah.
go any further. All
So,
right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
there's also, it's not just the debt to income ratio, but just even in having a new inquiry and a brand new credit
Could do it.
report,
Yeah.
can drop your score as well. So it's not just your debt to income ratio; it's your credit score itself that can be damaged.
All right. So I got this another email in this is for Chuck, and I sent you some background. I did some research for you because that's my job, is to make sure that everybody has research for them. Kathy heard us talk about love letters and writing them to home sellers before. We've talked about this on the radio show. So in case you don't know, so if you're a buyer, in the past, we've suggested, as well as other agents, that you as the buyer write a letter talking about how much they love the house. She recently asked her realtor to let her write one of those love letters, and she was running an offer, and her realtor said no, that it was illegal. She's wondering, is that true? So Chuck, did you get the latest update this past week about what's going on in Oregon?
Yeah, well, in Oregon, I mean, there are so many unintended consequences when you get people on a fad law type scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this is going on. Let's slap a law on that. There ought to be a law. Bad laws made in haste like that. So what? Oregon said you can't do it. Went to court. Now we've got a federal judge putting an injunction on it saying, hey, you can't ban people from doing this, at least as long as that is in litigation. I suspect you can't ban, and I think that's how it'll probably turn out. The government can't tell you what to say or not to say. Okay. I kind of see this whole thing as an analogy or analogous to you don't want this bad outcome. You don't want people discriminating based on the information you give them in the love letter. Okay. I get that. That's a horrible thing. But as a seller, I don't know that I like the idea of the government saying that I can't do something or read something or whatever because I might do something illegal. The act itself is not illegal, so why ban that? That's like saying, well, don't sell Chuck a gun because you never know when he's going to go, nuts and shave his head and climb a clock tower.
We know better.
There's a good movie actually with that same plot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
I
let me
like that kind of law.
Yeah, but let me ask you though, the National Association of Realtors, which governs all of us as realtors, came out with a policy. I think they suggested and maybe went a little bit further.
Yeah.
Don't write love
be
letters.
Involved with it. But you note that they did say if your person still says they want to do it, you just document that you told them not a great idea. You don't have anything to do with writing it, but you can't stop them.
And I think it comes down to it's the separation between the corporation and the individual, right? General corporate law that deals with federal things has to be fair housing, things you can say, no steering, no redlining, and this may or may not fall into that case. But in the case of the individual, the seller, they're not a corporation. That's their asset to sell. It goes
even further than that. It's wrong to redline. It's illegal to redline. It's illegal to do all these things. These things are not free speech. Okay. Government comes in and says, I can't tell you I love your house.
Right. That's wrong.
It's not that they're stopping them from doing an illegal action. They're stopping them from having information that might at some time in the future lead to me doing something illegal. And that bothers me.
We got a minute left. Let me just bring up one point, and this is where this conversation goes. So on one hand, folks, as realtors and attorneys and mortgage lenders, we are always impressed with trying to do the best job possible for our client. That's our goal. That's what we want to do.
Fiduciary responsibility.
Yes.
Bingo.
Now, if it's in the best interest for our client to write a love letter in an attempt to get one of the very few homes that are on the market, why would our board of realtors association nationally want to stop us? Well, it's because they're worried about discrimination, but I'm not so sure that anyone's had a discrimination or just limit the type of letters. You know what I'm saying here? There's a conflict.
I don't. Yeah, I think that if you've got it, are we going to ban having Nest cameras in our houses?
Right.
Because
That's
I
the Ring
might
doorbell
see-
thing. Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I can't see who's coming into my house to look at it.
Right.
I mean, I
Where
can
does it
use that to
stop?
discriminate.
No.
Yeah.
Good conversation. We got to pause it there. We're out of time. My thanks to our dear friend Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, who does such a great job with closings, wills, and a wide variety of things. You can reach Chuck directly at 499-6360. Steve Phillips did a great job filling in for Randy Rocky. We appreciate you being there, buddy. You can reach Randy
Absolutely.
and his team at 645-0736. My son, Greg, who does all of our marketing, photography, and so much more. Very proud of that guy. Does a great job. And you can reach me, Bob Sokoler, anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483. We are out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS. All right, Steve, you're out. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Did a good
All
job.
right, guys.
Brad Lawler is in.
I'm going to go fill this up
We'll
before.
see you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good
Go ahead.
day.
How's life, buddy?
Hey, it's pretty good. So Greg, tell me about the shark bite on the head there.
We just talked
Not
about
me.
that on radio.
Poorly placed sconce.
Is
When
that
you
what it was? A
start,
sconce?
Brad, in
Yeah.
your reports, if there's a sconce that's, shoulder level, poorly placed behind like a dining room table that serves no functionality, no safety feature, if it's a danger, you should start reporting these sconces because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like a nice 4-incher.
I
Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
would say I've walked into ceiling fans same way.
Man, if it was glass.
Did you get the email
Yes.
I sent you on smoke detectors?
No,
You didn't.
I
Okay.
did not.
Just
Yeah, you're
It's-
tall. You can walk into ceiling fans. I actually have to climb on top of something to get whacked by them.
Well, Chuck, I've been in houses where the ceiling fan would whack you in the head too.
Mm.
all right. So
Not
Do
to
you
jump
know-
on the couch.
do you know anything about IBC, this new code, International Building Code for Smoke Detectors?
No, not smoke detector updates.
All right, I got it for you. So we'll talk about it here.
Okay.
But there's a question that about where do you put smoke detectors? So I'm going to go to you for that at the beginning of the show. And then we'll go into this new thing, get everybody's opinion on it. Chuck, you're going to want to listen to this as well.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me ask a
Yeah.
question about that.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
We don't talk about placement of smoke detectors. So, keep in mind that for me, it's really just whether or not there's a presence of a smoke detector. Yes
Okay.
or no.
Well, that's what
So-
you'll do. Then yeah.
Okay.
It's always like an opinion, right?
Wait.
Isn't that the whole point of what you're going after? Is there an opinion?
No.
or is there a
There's
written
new.
code
There's
saying-
something new coming. That's just a nightmare. I can't help but believe it's a smoke detector. We'll talk about it. Here we go. You ready?
Okay,
gang?
yep.
Yep.
Bob's railing against the smoke detector companies. Okay,
It-
here we go.
They wrote the code for Jefferson County where to put smoke detectors.
Right. Yeah.
That is the horse
Mhm.
running.
But
the
we
show.
need them. You
All
just,
right.
but you
No,
need them.
We do need them, but not you. You have a
they're
fire
$20. If
the
you need 3
30,
or you need 1,
30.
they're 20.
The
Let's do this
fire
on air. Let's
department
do this on air.
needs
This is
the fire.
good
Okay, here
fodder.
we go. Okay, here we go. News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show with you till the top of the hour. Got a lot of stuff coming at you. Let's get right to it. Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, joining us today, 499-6360. Also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. You can reach Brad and his team at 844-411-TEAM. My son, Greg, who does my marketing, our photography, and so much more. And you can reach me, Bob Sokoler, anytime, 376-5483. And we will help you for a variety of reasons. We're ready to help you. So something new came out, and Mario wrote in and actually alerted me. He said that he and his wife are building a new home in Oldham County and is curious, Mario says, to see what the best locations are to put a smoke detector for the greatest fire safety. So, Brett, I know you don't tell people where to put them, but your thoughts on this are.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because Jefferson County actually has a more specific defined set of rules than Oldham County does. So, different jurisdictions are going to have different rules, but the rule of thumb would say that anytime you're going to want a smoke detector near any of the bedrooms So, if there's a wing of the house that has bedrooms in it, you're going to want a smoke detector there. You want at least one smoke detector on every level of the home. You're going to want a smoke detector near anything that is producing flame. So, it's a good idea to have one even in the kitchen. I know that they can be a nuisance there at times, basements, but yeah, near the bedrooms, and then again near just one in each living area.
Now, if you're living in Jefferson County, here there's a code that requires, and Chuck, this is where you come in. There's a code that requires that you have a 10-year non-removable lithium battery smoke detector, and
or hardwired,
or which would also be an alarm system that's hooked to an alarm system. But that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, technically it says you have to purchase that 10-year non-removable lithium smoke detector after a contract, but before closing, and have a receipt for it. Is that right? Yeah.
Well, doesn't say you have to have a receipt for it. You have to sign an affidavit. Yeah.
And you require that affidavit, right?
Closing, indicating that you have done it.
Now, is that if it's not hardwired, even if I have a hardwired smoke detector, like I built a brand new home, smoke detectors, they're dual carbon monoxide smoke hardwired throughout the home. If I sell my home in 2 years, do I still need that affidavit? Do I still need to sign? I know I need to sign stating they're hardwired, but do I need to replace them?
Do you need to replace a hardwired? I don't think so.
No.
I was looking in the
Yeah, I know with the battery, if it's a battery affair, it has to be a brand new, non-removable 10-year lithium battery or hardwired.
Gotcha.
So we understand that as realtors, we know that, we work with that. We know at a closing, Chuck and his compadres are going to require that the seller sign an affidavit that they've adhered to that regulation. We're so concerned about it is that when we list a home, we have a document that we check to make sure they either have this or that, or need this or that, and they sign it. So that's how important it is. But this email from Mario started me doing a little searching, and this is what I found. I am shocked and a little concerned about this. You may need to upgrade all the smoke detectors if they're not hardwired and into an alarm system in the house that you own, maybe when you sell. The International Building Code, that's IBC, it's a comprehensive compilation of safe building guidelines. You're shaking your head, Brad, so you're aware of that. Includes a requirement to upgrade an entire home's smoke detection system at the same time any major remodeling occurs, such as large additions that you're building, or maybe when you sell. And here's the difference. Besides having smoke detectors that are 10-year non-removable, the smoke detectors that they're proposing will communicate with each other, hopefully wirelessly. So if one goes off, they all go off. Mm-hmm. Not such a bad idea, but at what expense is that going to be? I mean, if you're selling, that means you're going to have to replace all of them, so they're all the same type that they communicate. Brad, thoughts?
Yeah, well, they sell those type of units right now out there where they're all wireless. They do communicate with one another, and they're, I don't know exactly what the price is. They're probably $50 a piece at your local big box store, and that is available out there as an option. But yeah, as far as any of the IBC and how that would roll out, because I mean the last IBC update I've seen was 2018, so there may be time that may be something that the fire protection people have decided it's time to upgrade what they're selling.
I'm looking on Amazon. They range anywhere for the type to communicate from $30 to $60, depending on the brand, if you've got carbon monoxide built in. And a lot of the new ones, though, it's all frequency based. So they may still communicate with each other when that frequency, that alarm frequency is hit, if they've got that microphone technology built in, or if you've got like some of the new smart smoke detectors that are hardwired. Certainly they're all wireless based. So as soon as one goes off, they all know that the rest are going off. So I think things are moving in the right direction. And
but here's where,
that's my point. Is this going into code And do you
Well,
need to change every single? Yeah, I mean, I
anything
see where you're
that
going with
makes homes safer for everybody, I'm 100%, and I think everybody would be. But here's where I have a problem. From what I understand in the research that I did, the smoke detector codes for Jefferson County, which require the 10-year non-removable lithium, were written, those codes were written by one of the major leading brand smoke detector companies. And I have a problem with that because that's a conflict of interest. And quite frankly, I want the fire department to write the code. I want an expert with the fire department who they know what needs to happen. And those are the people I trust, not some company that's a smoke detector company who can make some more bucks by changing this, moving that, and now talking. Everybody's got smoke detectors have to talk to each other. So
I know a couple other companies that make the rules and then sell or make the sickness and sell the cure rather.
it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
In this case of smoke detectors, I think you do your due diligence. You say, okay, I'm a smart person. Do I have kids? Do I want a carbon monoxide smoke detector in their room? Sure, makes sense to me. It's gonna make me sleep easier at night, whether it's one or two, $20, $60 here or there. I get where you're going down, but I think that's a specific Jefferson County. I personally know a couple fire chief not investigators, but inspectors up in New York. And they inspect fire hydrants, smoke detector placements, things like that. So there are certain counties that do it differently. Certainly, Jefferson County. You know, Bob really likes to get on his.
No, I'm just stating the obvious here that it shouldn't be a smoke detector company. All right, writing these rules. Let's move on. Thinking of selling your home, something new we've got. I'm now meeting with sellers, explaining the real estate secrets. It's no cost, no obligation. By the way, I can't say free anymore. Did you know that? The National Association of Realtors now says we can't say the word free. So no cost, no obligation. We can set up a Zoom meeting, or we can come together in person and do a consult. Go to LouisvilleHouseDoctors.com, fill out the form, and I'll get back in contact with you. All right, question for you. Chuck Madison lives here in a popular Louisville neighborhood where there is no homeowner association or rules and regulations that are enforceable. Several times a year, a neighbor down the block parks their RV on the street, creating a traffic hazard. Can Madison call the police to have the RV moved? More importantly, she wonders, will they actually do anything, or is calling them a waste of time? What are your thoughts on that?
Do you want me on the radio to say calling the cops is a bad?
No. I want you to tell us.
Not saying that. What I will say is that if you call them often enough, you will get results.
The squeaky wheel theory?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly. In particular, I know of one neighborhood where people would drive, and it's a beautiful neighborhood, but they'd park their cars that are decrepit, maybe tow them and just leave them there. And it took a number of phone calls, but they towed it.
And they eventually towed it. Got it.
Eventually.
All right, well, number of phone calls.
It took a month or two, but the issue with the RV though, that creates it's not there for a long time. It's there for a short period of time and intermittently. A lot less likely you're going to get anything done with that. All
right. One question before we take a break. This is from Tony, and it's really for both of you guys. And Greg, you can jump in here as well. Tony owns a condo here in Louisville. He sent us an email. He says he's trying to sell the condo. The neighbor above had a water problem, apparently in the bathroom, and it's leaked down into his condo's bathroom. And he says he's contacted the president of the condo association. The president's been reluctant to do anything. He's tried reaching out to the condo's owner above, and he's also reluctant to do anything. So what's the next step? So let's start with Brad as to what that could be. It could be anything, but water going over a bathtub or a loose wax.
It could be. I mean, if you have shower pans, if you have a walk-in shower with a shower pan, those pans will leak. The basket drain will leak there. We've seen water go over the short height of the curb around it. It's not caulked. Water gets around there, it goes into the space below. So it could be that. It could be kids in bathtubs, water not staying in the tub. It could be a toilet. It could be a water line. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could be leaking. Could be something as simple as the valve, there at the toilet is a steady drip. So yeah, that's a lot of different sources of water from a bathroom in particular.
I was hoping it was something that could be reached from underneath from Tony's condo, where they open up the ceiling and then they can do the repairs without ever having to worry about it working above. But it doesn't sound like that's going to be.
I think they're going to start by looking above to see what the leak is first.
So let's go back, Chuck, now over to you from the legal side. So if Tony is having the problem, the condo association not so reactive to it, nor the buyer, the owner above. Thoughts on legal? Where does he go?
Well, first off, I would always say you've got to find the problem and fix it. Okay. Before you can sue someone, you've got to have damages.
Yeah.
Fixing it will set the damages. So if it's possible to get at it from below, well, do it, fix it. You got to have it fixed anyhow. And then if nobody pays the money, sue everybody. In this particular case, I think the HOA has more power than they're letting on. So they would be, in my mind, a target. The owner upstairs, obviously, is creating damage. And when somebody damages your property, obviously, you can get a lawyer and sue them. That would probably get their attention fairly quickly. It's not a fast fix in any direction. Plus, I also see some kind of an insurance issue going on here. When somebody whacks your car, your insurance company will go after them. Similarly here, you can file that insurance claim. See if you can't get it going on several fronts. The way I've seen this play out before, where a unit above creates damage to the unit below, the insurance company fixes the damage below and then sues the fellow upstairs for reimbursement. Plus, you've got the issue of diminution in value. This person is doing something that's lowering the value of your property. You're going to sell it to somebody knowing he's up there? Yeah. No, this is, I always prefer the apple pie diplomacy, but in this particular case, it sounds like maybe that stopped. So time to lawyer up.
Got it. All right. The words of Chuck Crosby and Brad Lawler. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your questions. Chuck Crosby is here. Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job with closings, wills, a variety of other things. As Chuck says, if he doesn't do it, he knows somebody who does. You can reach Chuck anytime at 499-6360. Also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They're the #1 home team inspection service in the country now, 7 years, and I predict soon to be 8 years in a row. You can reach Brad and his team. They do a great job, 844-411-TEAM. My son, Greg, who is with us, who does our photography, marketing, and so much more, is with us, as well as you can reach me anytime to help you with your house, get a plan together, because that's really the thing. So if you're not able to find a home because there's few out there, we've got an actual plan to help you. Go to bobsellmyhome.com or sellmyhomebob.com. Get the difference. And there's a list of some of the things that we would recommend, but also you fill out the form and I'll come out, we'll talk and come up with a plan that will make it all work for you. So you can reach me at 376-5483. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. We're back with you till the top of the hour. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran, for your endorsement and friendship. We really appreciate that. You can reach any of the following folks on our show on their phones pretty much day or night. Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. Great closings, great guy, and he does a lot of work, and he's a good person to really know. Also, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service, 844-411-TEAM. They do a great job. My son, Greg, and does our photography, marketing, so much more. And you can reach me, Bob Sokoler, anytime. 376-5483. That's 376-5483. Chuck, Melissa is writing in and says that she's buying her first home, but lost out on a number of offers. And a friend suggests that she have her agent write multiple offers on different homes to increase the odds of getting an accepted contract. Is there a downside to this process? I've heard of people talking about this.
Yeah, there's a big downside. What if two of them get accepted?
Yeah.
Or more? You can find yourself in a whole boatload of trouble if you do that kind of thing.
Is this question coming from Kentucky? Are we sure? Because I know there are certain states like New York where you can do that because you have certain rescinding periods. Lawyers will draft up different paperwork, and there is the ability to do that in these crazy market times. But that is simply a product of the process and their lack of, in New York, the lack of having an NAR board governed body that keeps those rules in place, like most states do.
So
being
I don't know.
licensed only in Kentucky and in a variety of federal courts, I don't speak of New York ever.
Yes, and I'm presuming that she is from Kentucky, but let's face it, with the reach of 840 WHS, it could be anywhere in the world.
Well, and there's a lot of people moving to Louisville from other
parts.
That don't know how it works here. So,
but Chuck, there was a change in the contract very recently. I think the beginning of the year.
Every year.
Which it does seem like it. Before, you could simply get a termite inspection and pull out on the inspection phase. That changed.
That you're talking a practical matter. Okay.
Right. Well, I'm
yes,
saying
I could say, "Ooh, I don't like this," and I'm out of here.
Right.
That would still be bad faith if you were putting out a dozen offers and planning on finding issues within that period. That would be bad faith.
I'm just going to tell you, it happens. So what I'm saying is,
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying it's as a practical matter, what you said was accurate, but as a legal matter, not so much.
If legal matters come into play there, and you are proven to be acting in bad faith, you are in fact acting in bad faith. And you are the problem.
Yeah.
So to back this up, so if Melissa is putting in multiple offers, and as Chuck points out, 2 or more are accepted, there's really only one way of backing out of the contract, and that's to have a guy like Brad Lawler and his team come in and do a full inspection. So, and I know it costs the difference based on the square footage of the house, but it's no longer a $50 termite inspection. It's a little bit more than that, right, Brad?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there really is no limited scope. The challenge for the home inspectors is that, we have agents that'll call us up and say, "Hey, we need to get out of this deal. I just need you to come in." And I know you're making faces, Chuck. These are the phone calls we get.
I know.
They say we need out, and we need you to come in and do a limited scope. How much is it going to cost? And the problem is that I don't know, if the clients are going to buy that house or not. So there really is no limited scope according to the Kentucky Board of Home Inspectors. Indiana's the same way. I have to follow the standards of practice. I've got to inspect that whole house.
He's going to knock on your door.
Exactly. Then I accept the liability of doing this limited scope, and so it's turning into a bit of a learning curve for the agents that it looks like they are saying, "Hey, go write multiple offers and we'll just back out." But the home inspector's got to inspect the home. It's
a problem. So wait, Brad, how often is this happening? Because this is something I haven't heard. How often are you hearing this?
So the change took place, the 20th of January, something around there. We're probably getting a call a week, maybe 2 calls a week, inquiring about how we would go about doing it. And honestly, we've had agents that have been deeply, deeply offended by the fact that we tell them, we have to do an inspection on it. And they didn't really know there was a change.
Agents should be deeply, deeply offended at their own kind for changing the rules and regs on a snap of a dime, not representing the whole scope of.
Or Greg, not knowing that the change has been made. That's
always that's the case every year, and the issue is that you have education and you have brokers in town who don't do their due diligence.
But what's the lag time between the change being made and then that educational period? I mean, the latest bits about how if you don't respond within X number of days,
Oh, don't get me started.
I mean,
That's a whole
come
nother.
on.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
but
just-
but it is. I know I'm going to get.
Well,
on the
they've realized
soapbox,
problems with
yeah.
that, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and fix some of
And
the
then
things that they've
change
already
it up
changed
again.
there. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it almost seems like there's some sort of fad of the year. And with real estate,
Yeah.
real estate laws don't change that often because it's real estate. It doesn't get up and go anywhere. Why should the contract keep
Well,
changing?
I think just there's so much change so fast now, and there's a lot of agents who are just having trouble keeping up, and they're scrambling, and they're thinking, oh, this is all done to protect
Yeah.
seller or buyer, put more teeth in the contract, protect. It's always done to protect the end user at the end of the day. They're not, people aren't doing, but some agents are on their soapbox and they have a specific problem they'll go attack, and it's not necessarily, they don't see the butterfly
It's the
effect.
unintended consequences.
Right.
You had an issue that went this way. That doesn't mean that if you say you can't go this way, it's going to only do that. It's only going to solve that one problem. No, it creates a multitude of other problems in other areas.
And it has, as Brad
Yeah.
pointing out. And so getting back to the original question and writing multiple offers, Melissa, don't. You can not only end up with two homes, but it costs you a lot of money. And there are other things that come down the line on that. So be careful on doing
But again,
that for anybody.
But again,
Yeah.
our fiduciary responsibility is to you. If I tell you that and you
Yeah.
know it and you sign off and you
Right.
still want to do it and you've got
Yeah.
the money to do it, there is nothing saying you can't buy two homes at once.
Yeah.
There is nothing that says that. But when you try and bail
Don't
on
act in
one
bad
and
faith.
that agent comes after you for their
Right.
commission.
Don't act in bad faith. Do it in good faith and make sure you know what you're doing.
Moving forward, Cynthia's selling her house. She's worried about her chimney. She uses it every winter, a number of nights, but has never had a problem. She's wondering, how often should a chimney be inspected and by whom?
Okay. I hope that's questions for me
It
because I
is.
got an opinion on that one.
None
right.
of us are going to
If
be able to answer.
if you are burning wood in your fireplace, please get that chimney cleaned and inspected every single season. Creosote builds up. We have people that burn the wrong kind of wood. You get a lot of creosote building up. You can see it. It's a shiny substance. It's a tar that burns on melts, covers the flue, and it will light on fire. Yeah, you've got to have it serviced every year. I mean, people that go 10, 15 years in between, they're waiting for a call to the fire department, and hopefully
Yeah,
those
and
smoke
Santa
detectors
can't make
are
it
up
to your
date.
house if
Oh,
there's too much
jeez.
creosote built up in
That's-
your chimney.
that's
Santa
true.
is going to get too dirty.
Are we
Yeah, he will.
talking about gas and
No, wood.
wood? I just want to
yeah,
clarify.
Yes.
So
wood,
gas,
wood
is there another
burning.
standard for gas? No,
The gas.
checks?
No gas. I just think that, I mean, it's easy enough to kind of vacuum the fireplace out, vacuum the dust out, because that will catch fire. But if the chimney is clean, if the flue is clean, there's no creosote in it, gas isn't going to get hot enough to light anything on fire up above. But you want to make sure that, someone's checking the burners are clear, and, they get really dusty, really dirty. You want to just clean all those things up before you turn on. Otherwise you'll have kind of a burning dust ball there.
All right.
That initial burn.
All right. Final question, I think. Ethan, this is for Chuck. Ethan's buying a home in the Highlands and just discovered that his soon-to-be neighbor built their privacy fence on what will be Ethan's property, and it happened about 10 years ago. Apparently, nothing was done by the previous owner or owners, and now Ethan is worried that because the neighbor's fence has been on Ethan's soon-to-be property, the neighbor owns the property. So, Chuck, what's the statute on this, and help put?
Well, if they openly, continuously, exclusively, adversely, and notoriously possessed the property for 15 years and then filed a quiet title action to take title to that property, because just because you've had it for that period of time doesn't mean you own it. You actually have to go and get a judge saying, yep, you jumped through all the hoops, it's yours. Okay. Until that's happened, no, they don't own the property, but they've got stuff on your property. Number one, did you do a survey to find this out? If you did, well, B, time to determine whether or not it really bothers you that much. You looked at the property, it looked good to you. You wanted to buy it based on how it looked. So if you find out it's there, does that really all of a sudden mean you don't like it any longer? That doesn't make sense to me. At that point, go over there and talk to them and say, hey, look, guys, let's put an easement here. As long as that fence is up, you can have it there. I'm allowing you to do this. But if the fence is ever destroyed or falls into significant disrepair, then the easement disappears. And then, go from there.
And you said 15 years. Did you pull that out of the air, or is there really a 15-year?
It's a 15-year statute of limitations.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got that.
Yep.
So to create an easement, again, this is why you listen to the show, folks. If you know somebody's having a problem, the guy to send your friend or relative or whatever to is Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, as we wrap up. 499-6360 is the number to call, and he's the guy to talk to. If you've got inspection concerns or want your house inspected, my suggestion, I think, and the rest of the group that's on here, because we've all used this group, Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service, 844-411-TEAM. If you want the best possible photography and marketing of your home, there's no one better than Greg Sokoler. Unfortunately, you have to go through me and our team to get him. And you can reach.
I'm going to retire soon too, so
you're not.
My days are numbered. My days are numbered.
Yeah, maybe a couple of million years from now. But you can reach me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483. We would love to help you and to get a plan together for you to sell and to buy your next home, and at least share some of the secrets of what real estate agents do to help you decide which way you want to go and what you want to do. No obligation and no cost. I can't say free anymore. No cost. 376-5483. We are out of time, folks. Thanks for being here. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS. Okay, gang. Thank you all.
Lightning as ever.
We leave.
Brad, just because Brad's on here, hang on. I just found this thing on the internet about this. Have you heard about this zombie fungus?
Maybe. Tell me more.
It's invading cicadas and taking over their bodies.
Yeah.
It's making them. The cicadas are dead, but the fungus is controlling the cicadas' bodies.
It's not that they're dead.
Okay, they're not dead.
They're rotting. And
right.
It gives them a hyper sex drive or something.
You've seen this. It's pretty impressive, though. It's kind of cool.
How did you like your cruise, Chuck?
I loved it.
It was great.
Boat was excellent.
Isn't that great?
The thing that got me was the bakery. They had an actual bakery on board, and whoever their baker was freaking fantastic. Better croissants every morning than I can get in Louisville at all.
I never did that. Oh my God, I should have tried
the
that.
Croissants were incredible. Plus the baguettes. They did an epi baguette. That's like a bunch of baguettes that are kind of connected. It looks like a flowering plant. It's really pretty, but just fantastic. I could have just sat there with the bread and butter the entire trip and been happy.
I wish I was on the cruise with you, because I would have done a video on you excited and explaining this. Gets it.
Yeah, it was so good.
We go tomorrow.
We did a couple of the special dinners.
Yes. Did you do it with a plate? Did you do it with the plate?
No, we didn't get there. Didn't get there. No, we went to the Eden, which was as good a meal as I've had. In a lot of restaurants. I mean, better, and then we did a Veuve Clicquot dinner and then the chef's table. There just wasn't enough time.
All right. Well, I leave tomorrow with Michelle. We go to, we fly up to Detroit, over to Paris to Venice. So we get there Thursday morning, and then
you're going to Venice? Are you going into the city?
Yeah, was there for a couple of days. So I'm taking my camera with the new Arsenal, and
I've got some spots for you to go visit.
Email me, text her. Text me.
Well, I was going to say you have to go to the island of Poveglia.
Yes.
Greg, text me this stuff. So
hugely haunted.
we're going. Then we jump on a Viking cruise and we travel around the Mediterranean and we heading up in
Oh
Athens
yeah,
for
you're
a day.
doing the Viking,
Viking.
what is it, the Dalmatian coast. Is
I don't
that
know
it?
what the hell it is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just know it's the Plaza del I can't think of the name of it. It's the big plaza. Just walk around with a box of pasta
Yeah.
and a drink and listen to all the symphony. They do like dueling symphonies around the different restaurants. So you can just walk around with your.
What's the box of pasta for?
I'll send you the place to go.
All right. All right.
They're
You're eating
everywhere.
pasta
But
while you're walking. It's the point.
Oh, okay.
yes, they give you they make the fresh pasta. They put it in like a little Chinese to go
Oh.
container for you, and you just walk around Venice and eat it.
I'll do a
it's
video
just
on
great.
that. I'll do a video.
It's
All
great.
right. All right, gang. I'll see you when we get back. I'll talk to you all. Stay
Adios.
safe.
All right.
You bet.
Good
ya.
Bye, guys.
travels.
Yep. Thanks.
Safe travel.